What's new on Grab It TV? Absolutely everything. We've got daily news shows, sports, weather, comedy, inspirational shows, fast cars, and a whole lot more. If you aren't watching Grab It TV, you're really missing out. It's free for you and free from censorship. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Week 16 in the National Football League. You are watching World of Matchups. My name is Dexter Reed, and I am your host this week and every single week, breaking down every single matchup in the National Football League from now until Super Bowl Sunday. We are transmitting live from the Grab It television studios in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. To my right, I have my super producer on the ones and twos, Mr. Spencer the Wiz. Spencer, say what's up to everybody, bro.
Doesn't it feel like we were just sitting in these exact seats about last week?
I feel like I live at Grab It Television.
I went to bed
here.
And suddenly it's the next week of World of Matchups.
We're always here, man. And that's what World of Matchups does. You know, we are just constantly on top of the information, which there is a lot of stuff happening in the National Football League. Literally, I should just move in with Adam Schefter because every 2 minutes there is some bit of new information that is changing the culture of what's happening in this league. It's like the weather in Russia. It changes from hour to hour. That's the National Football League right now. So we have a lot to go over. We're going to start with our quick hitters, news and notes. All right? Coming to you. Starting off with tonight's game. Elijah Mitchell, running back for the San Francisco 49ers. This guy's been a nice find this year, but he's been injured now for the last couple of weeks. They are headed to Nashville to play the Tennessee Titans. He will not play tonight. So, fire up Jeff Wilson. Fire up JaMychal Hasty. You know Deebo Samuel's going to be leading that backfield as well. He is down and out. We don't know when he's going to be coming back. Any new information on him will be coming to you from the Super Information Highway. That is World of Matchups. Stay tuned on him. Next, COVID-19. Boy, we thought last week was rough with COVID. This week is even rougher. More notable names getting placed on the COVID-19 list. We know the dictator of the National Football League, Mr. Roger Goodell, put some new protocols in place to get guys to come back faster who can test negative. Asymptomatic players, symptomatic players, they're all going on the list. It's insane what is happening right now. Players are just falling off the face of the map. Teams are being decimated. Games are being pushed back. Some notable names to note. Right now, as of right now, Thursday, December 23rd, we are looking at on the COVID-19 list. Charvarius Ward, Travis Kelce, Harrison Butker, Kendrick Bourne, Justin Houston, Jared Goff, Joey Bosa, Nate Hobbs, Tyreek Hill, Blake Bell, Rashad Fenton, Cole Beasley, Jets head coach Mr. Robert Saleh, Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni, Taysom Hill, Trevor Siemian. Just found out about those two guys on my way to the studio. And while we were in the studio, just before we decided to start filming, I said, well, let me check the list one more time. Dalvin Cook is now on the list as well. My goodness, how are these guys going to even field teams? So, look, for real-life NFL, these games are going to go on. Roger Goodell, they're just going to keep pushing these games back. The NFLPA, they're not going to cancel these games. They don't care if you have a practice squad out there. The games are being played. As far as fantasy goes, guys, hold on to your hats. You know, make contingency plans. Have backups. If you lose this week, you know you're out. So drop all the guys that you've been holding on to. There's no need to keep backups that aren't going to play. And just know that at any given time, somebody can go on the COVID protocol. Earlier in the week is better because then you still have a chance to play at the drop-dead date of Saturday afternoon when they test guys. But if a guy goes on the COVID protocol today, especially if he's unvaccinated, it's RIP. Good luck to everybody out there this week playing in the semifinals. Next. A.J. Brown, he's been designated to return for the touchdown Tennessee Titans. Now, he's been designated to return. As of right now, he has not yet been activated. The game is tonight. It's either going to happen now or never. And if it does play tonight, I'm really not expecting him to be fired up the way with the usage that we're used to seeing from A.J. Brown. That chest injury obviously is worse than everybody thought. Julio Jones is back. They're still without Derrick Henry. They're 3.5-point favorites. Underdogs. We'll talk about them in a second. But this is something worth noting over the next couple hours here. They're going to have to activate this guy or he will not be playing tonight. Next, Daniel Jones and his bad haircut and his bum neck are done for the season. Boy, Daniel Jones. The Giants in general, Spencer. How bad are these guys? It's just gone from bad to worse.
They invested a lot into the season, too, I feel like, with a lot of their free agency signings, and it literally has had no benefit to them at all.
None of it's
Any
worked.
of their signings.
Can somebody tell me where Kenny Golladay is? That's a huge sign. They gave him a ton of money. I think I saw him pumping gas this morning. Daniel Jones is done. Like I've been saying for weeks, burn the entire New York Football Giants franchise to the ground and start over. I would take the Jacksonville Jaguars job before I take a head coaching job for New York. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Next. Sunday Night Football was rough on Tampa. My goodness. The Saints pushed their wigs back. Chris Godwin. He suffered a torn ACL, and he's done. No playoffs. He is done.
I feel so bad for him because he's a free agent this season too, man, and he's not going to be available until the playoffs next year.
1 year prove-it deal, if that, and he would have gotten paid. It just goes to show you, man, opportunity is everything, and you just got to seize it. And he was having a nice season. He was ascending. He was blowing up the last couple weeks. I think versus Atlanta, he had 13, 14 catches. Tom Brady loves him, that slot underneath guy. Now it's looking more like Antonio Brown's going to have to carry the mail a little bit more. Scotty Miller underneath. Tampa's in trouble here because we're not done talking about them yet. Next, Mike Evans. Week to week with a hammy. Those hamstring injuries are hard to gauge, man. You could be out a week. You could be out 6 weeks. And Mike Evans is a beast. He's a boom or bust beast, but he's still a beast. And no Godwin, no Evans. Now, coach is coming out and saying it's not as bad as we initially thought. That could be coach speak. You know what I mean? These coaches never really tell the truth. And so Tampa is looking to now be playing without 2 of their top offensive stars. This is huge and something to monitor. Tampa Bay is trending the wrong way at the wrong time. Next, you guys thought we were done talking about the Buccaneers? Wrong. Leonard Fournette. Whew. This is the biggest one. This is the biggest one right here, Spencer, because this guy, a lot of people were trying to tell me a couple years ago that Leonard Fournette was a bum. Wrong. Leonard Fournette has always been good, okay? He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run between the tackles. His yard per carry is not the best, but he's pushing a pile, and now he's out. Who knows how long he is going to be out, but it's also a hamstring issues. And these hamstring, have you ever pulled your hamstring, Spencer?
No, I haven't, but it doesn't sound pleasant at all.
It could be a while. So fire up Rojo in his absence. Tampa's B team is still another team's A team, but this is definitely a chink in the armor and something to watch out for as they move towards the playoffs. They need to get these guys back fast or they could be in some trouble here. Next, Drew Lock, the worst quarterback in the league, is scheduled to start in place of Teddy Bridgewater, who was carted off on a stretcher in last week's home game versus the Cincinnati Bengals, okay? Look, he's got the concussion. He's done. Here comes Drew Lock, who I think is an awful quarterback. Spencer seems to think he's going to throw 5 touchdowns versus Vegas on Sunday. It's just something to monitor, okay? We all know that the Denver air attack has been less than stellar all year. It might be the worst in the league when you consider them having guys like Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, Noah Fant. They've got studs. They just don't have the quarterback. And we're going to see it in all its splendor or putridness this week versus Vegas on the road. Next, Antonio Brown. Boy, Antonio Brown went from we should cut this guy to welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. What a joke.
To conspiracy theory. I thought that vaccine card was real.
What a joke. He serves his suspension for faking the COVID-19 vaccination card. You know, 1 minute they're like, we're getting rid of this guy, we're sick of this guy. The next minute they're like, welcome back because we need you. Why? Because everybody's hurt. Antonio Brown could be a league winner here for fantasy purposes. Look out for him. Antonio Brown's still good. Don't forget how good Antonio Brown was like 5 years ago, people. He was every bit as good as like Jerry Rice was in his prime for this kind of NFL that we're looking at now. He could still stretch the field. He's still fast. Guy hasn't played in weeks, so he's fresh. This is something to keep your eyes on. Next. Matt Rule says that Sam Darnold has been cleared and will play at some point in the next 3 games. Why? Okay? Why? Because Cam Newton stinks. That's why. And he's a waste of a roster spot. Now, does Sam Darnold stink? It remains to be seen. He had a great first 5 games, man, and then he just fell off a cliff. Needless to say, he's back. We'll see what he can do. Carolina is another one of these teams that I think they just need to wash clean and start fresh. I never liked Matt Rule. I trade CMC. Robbie Anderson's been a bust. The only decent player on that team is DJ Moore. I like what they've done with their defense. The defense is going to be a lot better, especially the secondary. They got Gilly Locke now, but they got to find a quarterback. Trade for a quarterback or draft somebody, and please send Cam packing permanently. All right, folks. Those are the quick hitters for right now. I'm sure as we're like filming the show, a million different things are happening in the NFL. But as of Thursday right now, 10 o'clock PST, that's what's happening, okay? So if we miss something, don't shoot us any dirty looks. We're doing the best we can here at World of Matchups, okay? Look, we're everywhere, okay? Social media has us blowing up. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. If there's a social media outlet, we are there. You definitely want to check us out. You can like and subscribe to our YouTube page and go to grabit.com and sign up. Grabit is free. That's where all our content is. There's a whole bunch of other amazing content on Grabit, other sports shows, political shows. You should check it out and sign up. So when we bring the content to the world, you'll be the first to get it. All right, folks. Ay. My blood's about to start boiling. Why? You know why. Because it's the part of the show that we love the best here at World of Matchups, where we go after the refs and all their idiots. They're just ineptness. They're just idiots, these guys. And you're going to see it right here when we roast the refs. All right, folks, you know what this is. We got the shirt, we got the hat, we got the whistle. We're ready to fire up and roast these refs. Roast the Refs, sponsored by our friends at Heroes Heating and Air. Check them out, Medford, Oregon, the Rogue Valley, Ashland, Central Point. These are my friends. They're doing a great business. Check them out for all your service needs, air conditioning, heating at heroesheatingandair.com. All right, tons to go over. The refs, they made it easy for me. So normally, I have to do some digging to find out where they blew it. This week, I had more than enough material to work with, okay? So we're going to start with these roughing the passer calls. We have to have these things change, okay? The one on the top is roughing the passer on Aaron Rodgers. That looks like a light push to me. If that is roughing the passer, I may sign up to play in the National Football League at 49 years of age because I might be okay. The one on the bottom, roughing the passer on Matty Ice, to me, that just looks like a clean tackle. What says you, Spencer? I don't know.
It's just because he's up high, I guess, is where the call comes from. But he's not coming.
It's not helmet to helmet.
Part of it is him coming down with the full, force of his weight, I guess. Like he's falling on his body. And look, roughing the passer is obviously a very light penalty now. So
it's a joke. I saw in 1990, Leonard Marshall hit Joe Montana the same kind of way Matt Ryan just got hit there. He sent Joe Montana to the sidelines with a concussion. I don't remember seeing any flags then.
Yeah, one thing that's obvious to me, though, is that it wasn't a dirty play. So
Neither one of them.
If it doesn't look like a dirty play to you, then it probably shouldn't be a penalty.
Neither one of them are dirty plays, but they're throwing these BS flags. I don't understand it. My question to you is out there, the viewer, okay, guys? What are the defenders supposed to do in this situation? That's my question. They're coming after Aaron Rodgers there. What's he supposed to do? That's roughing the passer? I mean, I thought the last name said Rodgers. It should say Brady. That's ridiculous. Maybe the one on Matty Ice, but no, because there's no helmet to helmet. It's just a clean hit, as usual, the National Football League botches this. It's an absolute joke, and because of that, you get the whistle. Next, this BS pass interference against the Ravens. Look at this nonsense. How is this pass interference? Not only did the guy drop the ball, show me where there was a pass interference. Like, that's pass interference? Are you kidding me? Look at John Harbaugh's face. What? John Harbaugh must be sleeping with that ref's wife. That's pass interference? That is pass interference?
That look says it all for me.
That is a joke. How suspect is that? These refs have to be on the take. Ridiculous. Next. Look at this BS call for this low block here. Chicago versus the Ravens. I mean, the Vikings. That deserves a penalty? Again. What is the defender supposed to do here? That's not a chop block. The way to stop Dalvin Cook is to go after his waist down because you got to kill that engine. How is this a penalty? You said one was called like this on John Abram, right? The NFL has to go back to the drawing board and make these kind of corrections. These egregious calls, more times than not, result in a first down and 15 yards. Guys, do you know how hard it is to get 15 yards in the National Football League? It's not easy. These guys sacrifice a lot for those yards. And to willingly just give them to them for such ridiculous blown calls, it's unacceptable. Next. This one was my favorite. Look at this. Look at Tom Brady coming to the sideline screaming at the Saints freaking coach. And I can't even repeat what he said, but if you read his lips, because I definitely zoomed in and there, he said, F you biatch. Are you joking? How is this not taunting? You can throw up the peace sign as Tyreek Hill, get fined 10-5. Waving goodbye, fined 10-3. Cassius March got played out, fined $6,000. Cursing out another team's coach, and it's crickets. I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again. The National Football League swings from the nuts of Tom Brady, and it is absolutely sad. You bunch of simps. If that was Tyrann Mathieu, he'd be suspended for a game and fined. Can you imagine Cam Newton doing that and getting away with it? But no, Tom Terrific, who's getting blown out in his own building, throwing a temper tantrum, nothing. And you know what's even more sad is that I had to go to Twitter and find that. It took me a while to find that. I feel like they kind of tried wiping it off some of the social media. I had to do more digging than natural to find that. Ridiculous. I'm so sick of Tom Brady, and I was actually starting to like him. That's done. I'm reminded why I hate Tom Brady. And then finally, look at this. Tom Brady throws a pick or something, gets sacked, turned the ball over, I think. I can't remember what it was here. Saints players right up in his grill. How is that not taunting? But CEH can point at a defender and be called for taunting and fined. Folks, this is what it boils down to. And as long as this BS keeps happening, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing here. I'm going to keep calling you guys out. All right? I'm going to keep splitting hairs with this deal. Who you are depends on what happens to you. It's like the American justice system. Depending on who you are, you get to play by a different set of rules. And it's so obvious. If you cannot see this by now, I don't know what to tell you. Helen Keller can see this, okay? Stevie Wonder can see this. Tom Brady plays by a different set of rules. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers play by a different set of rules. And the refs, they push the script on the National Football League. I mean, that's taunting. Going to the side of the opposing team and cursing out a coach is beyond taunting. It's egregious, and a fine should be levied. And if it was the wrong player, it'd be a suspension. Go back to last year's Super Bowl. Look at how they treated Tyrann Mathieu in that Super Bowl. He said less than Brady got, and there was flags. There were so many flags thrown at Tyrann Mathieu. You thought he would be wearing a yellow jersey. I'm over it. So sick of it. You guys are keeping roast the ref in business, and I'm going to keep doing this, and Spencer's going to keep doing this until you get it right. And even when you get it right, we're going to still come after you because we're going to know you're doing some dirt on the low. And that's all we got to say about that.
Diesel Protector out.
All right, folks, welcome back. Boy, that roast the ref just gets my blood pressure boiling. My doctor would probably tell me to not do this show if he could take my blood pressure right now. But we get tired of just the nonsense that keeps happening in the National Football League, and we're going to continue to call it out when we see it. So now it's time for our mailbag Q&A. From the viewers, from the friends, from the families, anybody wants to talk about something, you send it to us and we'll talk about it. We're going to start with my man and today's special guest, Mr. Rob the Raider, wants to find out who won the Carson Wentz trade. This is a tricky one because there's a whole bunch of different clauses. If Wentz played a certain amount, the Eagles would get first-round pick. I personally think that it's still too early to tell. Now, if the Indianapolis Colts all of a sudden hit their stride, Jonathan Taylor turns into more of a madman than he already is, and they find a way to win the Super Bowl, it's the Colts. However, if they go out like a bunch of biatches and poop the bed and don't make the playoffs and just fall apart in the last couple games of the season, I think it's going to be the Eagles because, look, first-round picks are really hard to come by, especially on defense. It's a decent draft that's going to be coming out. I think the Eagles at 7-7 have some decisions to make about whether or not they're going to retain the services of Nick Sirianni, but I do think they're more of a decent team than people think they are. They've got some weapons. They just don't use them properly. If you can add to what they've got there, I think all of a sudden they're a borderline playoff team. I think this is a wait-and-see question. Give me 3 more weeks. Give me 6 more weeks. We'll revisit it again then. Next. The Deacon of Dallas, my homeboy Scott Broas from Texas, wants to know, let's talk about what each quarterback brings to their team. Mac Jones versus Mr. Josh Allen. So this is our game of the week. Me and Rob the Raider are going to break this down in a little bit here. So first things first, Mac Jones is the perfect quarterback for the New England Patriots. I called this eons ago. When I saw which way the draft was going, I'm like, they're taking Mac Jones. Why? Because Cam Newton's a bum, they needed a quarterback, and they needed the type of quarterback that would work well with Belichick. He is teachable. You could mold him. He can throw, but we're not going to ask him to lose the game for us. It kind of reminds me of Brady's first year. We're going to run the ball. We're going to play solid defense. We're going to win ugly, and if we have to, we'll throw. They don't yet have the Randy Moss wide receiver. They're a double tight end set. And that's what they're going to run in New England. And he's intelligent. His IQ is high. His football acumen is off the charts. And he's just a good dude that is never going to get in any trouble. That's what they want in New England. And that's what they've got. I see Mac Jones being the quarterback for this team for at least the next decade, and it's a marriage made in heaven. Now, he's got a big game to win on Sunday. If Mac Jones and the Patriots find a way to win this game on Sunday, they're going to be a problem in the playoffs. A huge problem. Now, on to Josh Allen. Josh Allen's first playoff game was a circus show. But we knew he had talent. He was kind of like the white Cam Newton. He was inaccurate. Balls were just flailing all over the place. We knew he had some wheels. We knew he could run. I think Josh Allen means more to the city of Buffalo than Mac Jones means to the Patriots. Josh Allen is their savior. They believe he's Jesus Josh Allen dropped in their lap. They just keep going to Super Bowls. They keep losing. There had to be a change. The quarterbacks are terrible. Now they get this big, strong, 6'6", 240 guy with wheels, with an arm that could throw the ball from here to Africa. My thing about Josh Allen is that I feel like they ask him to do too much. Their running game is not great. No one's being scared of Devin Singletary. No one's scared of Zach Moss. No one's scared of, Breida. And so if that breaks down, he's got to throw 30, 40 times in order to win. Now, mind you, they can still do that. They got Stephon Diggs. They got Dawson Knox. They got players. Gabriel Davis is a good player. But if something happens to Josh Allen, Buffalo is done. Done. Whereas if something happens to Mac Jones, they could still get by with whoever that backup quarterback is because it's about the system, not the player. 2 different quarterbacks. They get to meet this Sunday. Will be our game of the week. We'll break down. Stay tuned because I know my buddy Rob the Raiders is going to have a lot to say about that game. Next. This question came from me. I had to slide this question in just to be a jerk. But I really want to know, man. And I want some feedback from you guys on this question because, I'm in a thread with all my homeboys. We do a fantasy league that's fantastic. And we talk about this kind of stuff. And this question just keeps getting asked every single year. And it's time that we answer it once and for all. Should Derek Carr be the quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders next season? Okay? Me personally, I say absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, Derek Carr is a fan favorite of World of Matchups. Spencer? Spencer hates Derek Carr. Okay? I like Derek Carr. I like what he's about. He's a good guy. He's an emotional leader. The guy's a Christian. I like that. I'm a believer. You know what I mean? He does things the right way. He says the right things. This is my problem with Derek Carr. The stats are misleading because most of his career he's been down in every game, so a lot of it's hollow stats. And when you absolutely need Derek Carr, he's nowhere to be found. I've been at games. I've been at multiple Kansas City Chief Raider games now when I was like, man, this would be a good time for him to step up, and he throws a pick to like the worst defender on the other team. He never shows up in a big spot. And being a good dude is not going to bring you a Super Bowl win. The Raiders have talent. And I'm here to tell you, you mark my words, you could get a haul for Derek Carr right now. If you traded Derek Carr to the Giants, you could get a haul. Get the haul. Get the haul. Get rid of, like you did with Mac, and everybody was mad about it, but you got picks. Get the haul. Rebuild. Get the right coach. Look what you did on defense. This is my problem with the Raiders. The Raiders seem scared to make these moves. Scared money don't make money. Get rid of this guy. You ain't winning with him. How many years is this now? Get rid of him. Get somebody in there you can draft and mold. I'm not saying you find a Mahomes every other week. I'm not saying that. But give Russell Wilson, bring him in. Bring him to Vegas. Get him some hookers. Give him the treatment. Russell Wilson will leave Seattle tomorrow and come to Vegas. Get a decent quarterback who, when it counts, will show up, because that's always been my one knock on Derek Carr. And there's a lot of Raider enthusiasts out there like, Derek Carr, it's not his problem. It's always been the defense. Defense played great this year, Spencer. Oh, Derek Carr, he's never had a number one receiver. He's never had decent receivers. What was Nelson Aguilar last year? What was Darren Waller? Oh, Derek Carr's never had a running game. Hello? The Raiders run the football. Josh Jacobs is decent. They've always had decent guys running the football. It's always Derek Carr's da-da-da-da-da. Sorry, I ain't buying it no more. So sorry, this is my rant for today with 2 Raider fans in the room right now. Hear me loud and clear. You rue the day that you do not do what I'm telling you here with Derek Carr. Get this guy off the team. You're never winning with him. He's a great guy, but nice guys finish last. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, anything you want to add to that, Spencer, as a Raider fan?
You don't have to tell me twice. He's garbage. I mean, that pick he threw late in the game against Cleveland is all I needed to know about him as a quarterback.
Trash, capital T. And he's a great dude, man. I love him. He's such a nice guy, man. I'm trying to get Derek Carr on the show, but after that rant, he'll probably never show up. He'll never come. But it is what it is, man. And I'd say this about my own players, too. If you're a bum, you're a bum. I don't care if you're wearing my team's colors. All right, game preview, 16 games. We got a lot to go over. Sorry I had to go on that little rant. My blood pressure's even higher now. The ambulance is on the way. Okay, week 15, I went 10-6. Just missed a couple. Double digits are still in play every week. That's what we do here at World of Matches for the season. 138, 65, and 1. That is not bad. At the end of the year, we're going to wrap this up and look at what my percentages are. I think you'll see that I'm obviously winning more than I'm losing, but don't bet your mortgage on what I'm saying. Now, Thursday Night Football. Normally I do a quick hitter, but today's Thursday. We're doing the show from the studio, so I'll break it down here. Niners at Titans. The Niners are surging, and they are a team that, if they get in the playoffs, man, no one's going to want to see them. No one want to see this team. They're going to be a tough out. Tennessee, they're hanging on to try to stay alive with the hopes that Derrick Henry will be a miracle man and find his way back onto the field for a run at the playoffs. Now, A.J. Brown, like I mentioned in the quick hitters, he's designated to return. He needs to be activated here soon to play tonight, okay? If he does, I think that could make a difference. That could make a splash versus a lousy San Francisco secondary. Now, the Titans D should harass Jimmy G enough and force him into some errors. I know Jimmy G's been hot, but mind you, he's been hiding behind Debo and Kittle. He makes the throws. It's all yak. I haven't seen shoots and a whole ton of down-the-field throws. This is a trap spot for him. The X factor obviously will be Debo Samuel in this game, and if he is contained, the Titans are winning this game, okay? Titans plus 3.5, man, take that to the bank. I love that. And over 44.5 should be a World of Matchups winner on Thursday Night Football. The pick, touchdown Titans! Touchdown Titans! Saturday games, man, we got football every day of the week right now. I'm fired up. Are you fired up, Spencer? You're looking a little subdued over there.
No, I'm ready to go. I'm actually
fired.
I kind of like Saturday football, to be honest with you.
I like
it's a nice
football
way to
every
spend
day,
Saturday.
man. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be married, but hey, it is what it is. All right, Saturday, Browns at the Packers. The Browns are a hot mess. Between COVID and injuries, they are just asking to be put out of their misery. The Packers look stronger and stronger every single week. This is what the Packers do, man. They go 13-3, 14-3, and then they go somewhere and they get their doors blown off in the playoffs. But right now, I'm going to show them their love. Playing in Lambeau in December just cements victories. You're not going there and winning, especially not if you're the Browns. A-Rod is going for back-to-back MVPs. Devontae Adams cannot be covered, okay? He is the most technical wide receiver in the game to date. The guy's routes are crisp, and he's got hands for days. Now, the run game is no slouch either. A.J. Dillon, Jonesy, good players. They're solid. All right, Baker Mayfield's going to be back more than likely, but it won't make a difference. Okay, Baker Mayfield is a fraud. I've been saying this for weeks. The Packers D is going to stack the box. They're going to slow Nick Chubb down. They're going to dare Kevin Stefanski to throw that ball, which we know they can't really do. And the Cleveland special teams will have to score to win this game. It simply is just not happening, folks. The pick is going to be the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau. Next, Colts at Cardinals, Saturday night. Whew. Last time the Colts played on Saturday night, Jonathan Taylor scored 1,000,000 touchdowns. I think he just scored again. Folks, I keep trying to tell you guys that the Cardinals are not a Super Bowl caliber team. Stats don't always tell the story. I don't care about double-digit wins. They don't have Hopkins anymore. This team is in big trouble. You saw it live on Sunday after they were dominated. How the hell are you dominated by the Lions? How? I don't think the Lions could dominate the Lions. That was a horrible win. Okay, in comes the surging Indianapolis Colts and Mr. Jonathan Taylor, who in my mind is the MVP. I don't care what anyone says. You could come on this show. We could go 12 rounds. The MVP is Jonathan Taylor, and politics are going to rob him of it. Now, this is a hungry team fighting to get in the playoffs. DeAndre Hopkins is done. The defense hasn't shown that they can stop the run, and Kyler Murray is going to have his hands full, which is with a very underrated Indianapolis defense. They are slept on. They are a good defense. They played really well last week, and you're going to see it again this week. The Colts will grind this game out without asking Carson Wentz to be Superman. They're going to just milk Wentz. They're going to baby Wentz, throw 10 passes maybe, because they're not going to have to throw. Zach Ertz and Christian Kirk will have to have the days of their lives to win this game because their run game is less than 100% healthy. James Conner's banged up. You know what I mean? Other dude's coming back from IR, Chase Edmonds. I'd love for JT to go for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns to further solidify his case for the MVP here, and I think it's going to happen here. The pick, the Colts on the road, Saturday night on Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Early game Sunday morning. Presents are open. Everyone's happy. A little hangover here and there. Let's roll.
That's actually a really good point. I just thought about that. Is Christmas Day. They're just saying, screw the NBA. The NBA usually owns Saturday.
NBA is trash.
Yeah, the NFL doesn't even care anymore.
NBA is unwatchable. No one cares about the Lakers. The NBA is unwatchable. I'm sorry. I love Stephen Curry. He ruined the league. All they do is shoot threes, but this is a football show. I digress. Lions at Falcons. I'd rather watch the Lions and the Falcons to watch any full NBA game. You heard it here first. Now, this is the No One Cares Bowl. All right? Jared Goff is on the COVID-19 list, which does not bode well for Detroit. I think he may get past the protocol because he was diagnosed very early this week. I'm kind of hoping that's the case. Atlanta's home after getting beat to death in San Francisco. I expect them to bounce back versus a bad Lions team. Look, Atlanta's been better than I thought they'd be this year. They've got 6 wins, and they're a bad team. With no Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts has done nothing. With 0 defense, you give them 6 wins? That's kind of surprising. They're gonna get 7 here.
Kyle Pitts has over 1,000 yards receiving this year. Did you know that?
Very quietly.
That's the quietest 1,000 yards in NFL
I didn't know that.
history. Yeah, I didn't know it either. If you would have asked me what his yards was, I'd probably say like 500.
Half of that.
Yeah.
I think the problem is he's not scoring touchdowns. Everybody expected him to come in and score touchdowns. Why? Because that's what he did in college. The guy's a behemoth, but he just hasn't gotten it done. Maybe that's why they have 6 wins. Who knows? Maybe I'll lay off Kyle Pitts. My boss. Next, Matt Ryan, Cordarrelle Patterson, Russell Gage. They should all have big days versus a bad defense. Jamal Williams is going to be back from injury, so that gives Detroit a boost. This new kid, Craig Reynolds, keep your eye on him as well. How the hell do you pronounce this guy's name? Amarona?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, Mr. St. Brown, he's been a Lions stud, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this game be close. But everything hinges on whether or not Jared Goff plays and gets out of that COVID-19 protocol. I just don't trust the Lions either way, okay? The Lions are not winning 2 in a row. Money line, the Falcons, whatever you got to do, they're not winning 2 in a row. It's just not in their DNA to do it yet, all right? The pick, the Atlanta Falcons. Next, Giants at the Eagles. I'm going to throw a flag at the entire Giants franchise. The entire New York Giants franchise, you get flagged, okay? You're awful. You're done. I've been saying this for weeks. No decent quarterback play. Poor coaching and injuries have doomed this team. The Eagles came back from down to 10 to beat the Washington football team on Tuesday. It's a quick turnaround, but this is the new state of the NFL. Soon guys are going to be playing games like every 3 days if this continues. It's ridiculous. It's not good for the league, but the money train will not stop. I digress. Look, Jalen Hurts should have a field day. Jalen Hurts has been good this year. He's had some clunkers, but let's give this kid his flowers. He's a decent NFL quarterback. If he gets better coaching, he'll be something, okay? Now, I really like him. Expect Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith. They're going to have decent days as well. Saquon Barkley is officially a what-if player. He's just now a what-if player. When I think about Saquon, I'm just like, well, what if he didn't get hurt? Or what if he had a different coach? Or what if he had a better line? Or what if he had a – he's just a what-if player now. Don't get gassed, guys, about the name. If the guy was hot 5 years ago, that doesn't mean the guy's hot now, especially in fantasy. Don't fall into that trap. Name is just a name. Look, nobody can expect anything good from the current state of quarterback play for Big Blue. Who is it? Is it Jake Fromm? Who's that other guy with the neck? Mike Glennon? Who is it? Is it the ice cream man? Like, is it your mailman? Like, who's back there? No one knows. Daniel Jones is done for the year, him and his bad haircut. And to top it all off, they're on the road. Stick a fork in the Giants. The pick. Fly, Eagles, fly. Next. Dear God, what did I ever do to deserve to have to break down such a putrid, disgusting matchup?
I think I'm going to be sick.
Whatever it is, I'm sorry. Jeez. Jaguars at the Jets. I took the Jags last week thinking they would be galvanized with the firing of Urban Meyer. Boy, was I wrong. And as usual, they look like complete trash. Now, the Jets are just as trashy. Okay, and they're at home, which means absolutely nothing when you're a Jet fan, okay? Zach Wilson is awful. Trevor Lawrence gets a pass for now. He gets a pass. And both defenses are 1,000 times % underwhelming. I'll take the Jets here and pray that their skilled players show up somehow. Jamison Crowder should be able to have a decent day, and the Jets' D should just sell out and blitz Zach Wilson every single down. Because that Jags air raid is doing absolutely nothing. It's putrid, that attack. All New York has to do is slow down James Robinson. Can they do it? I think so. The pick, Jets. Jets. Next. Bucks at the Panthers. Boy, you want to talk about a beatdown. Bucks are limping into this one. But the thing about the Bucks is that their second and third stringers are first stringers on other teams. They're loaded. I loved watching Tampa get shut out at home in front of the entire world on Sunday. I cashed in on that game. I told everyone, plus 11 is a slap in the face. Saints D might be the best in the league. They are not going to head to Carolina and lose this game. Okay? They're going to face an awful Panther team. I expect Brady, Gronk, Rojo all to eat in place of their injured stars. Now, the Tampa defense is the key here because their defense is still really good. I mean, Vita Vea in the middle of that field, Devin White, I mean, good players, man. JPP, all great players. They're going to pressure Cam Newton, whoever's playing. It don't matter. Cam, they may bring Darnold back. It doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. With Joe Biden back there, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. That quarterback is going to make mistakes versus this defense, okay? On paper, this game should not be close. You know the refs are going to do whatever they have to do to keep Tom Brady relevant. I'm taking the Bucs to bounce back, and I'm not going to waste any more time trying to find something good to say about Carolina because they're not good. Oh, I found something good to say about Carolina. Fire Matt Rule. The pick, the Buccaneers. Next, Chargers at the Texans. The Chargers lost a game they should have won. And the Texans won a game they should have lost. Now, this is a game where Justin Herbert should shine. Austin Eckler may or may not play. That COVID-19 list caught up with him after there were rumors about him having it Monday. Finally, the gauntlet dropped on him yesterday. Who knows if he's going to play? If not, fire up Justin Jackson. No one really knows if he's going to be out there. Davis Mills and Brandon Cooks have been playing well, but Cooks will be out also due to COVID. Damn, everyone's got COVID, G. Dang. The vapors is catching everybody. Look, they simply don't have enough firepower in Houston to win this game. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen should both go off on a very suspect Houston secondary, and they should win this game going away. The Chargers have work to do before the playoffs, and this is a game where they got to get it all worked out. You mark my words, folks. If they somehow throw up all over the field and lose this game, the Chargers will not make the playoffs. Losing to Kansas City was embarrassing, and losing to Houston here will end their season. Next, Rams at the Vikings. The Rams have won 3 in a row, and they're back. They had a tough stretch there, but they're back. The Vikings are a Jekyll and Hyde team. They're just trying to find some kind of consistency. There is no defensive player on Minnesota that can stop the Cooper Kupp and ODB train. It's just not happening. Cooper Kupp is having a season for the ages. Who would have ever thought that this guy would be doing what he's doing? But why? He's got the right quarterback. I think Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford are on the low, if you know what I mean. These guys are unbelievable together. Now, Justin Jefferson's a stud, and he should produce right along with Dalvin Cook. Oops, Dalvin Cook, COVID-19 about an hour ago. Sorry, fire up Alexander Madison. But newfound diamond in the rough, Sony Michel has given the Rams a new dimension they didn't have earlier in the year with Darrell Henderson. Sony Michel just needed a shot to play, and now he's getting it. Sean McVay likes him. They're pushing the pile. They're not just an air raid attack team anymore. They can grind out games. Look, the Rams can grind out drives now, and their defense is so good. The Rams' defense doesn't get its flowers. I mean, I know Ramsey's not shadowing the best player in the other field, but they're really, really good. Aaron Donald's he's a defense by himself. Kirk Cousins will have to have the game of his life. He's going to have his hands full on Sunday. All right? As long as Matthew Stafford's back holds up, expect the Rams to go deep in the playoffs. The pick is the Rams. And I'm back on their train saying that I think the way things are right now, at home or on the road, that they could beat Tampa. I think they have enough to do it because Tampa's secondary is suspect. They got more holes than my underwear. Next. I hate you, Spencer.
Your boys.
Ravens at the Bengals. I hate these both. I hate both these teams. I'd rather eat a liverwurst sandwich than do this breakdown. Okay? John Harbaugh has shown faith in his team, going for 2 to try to win 2 out of the last 3 games they've played this year. And he failed on both. I've been saying it all season that the Ravens are the luckiest team in the National Football League. So, number 1, I get wanting to show faith in your squad and go for it on the road. Your defense was gassed. Get out of the building with a win, and if you lose it, you lose it. At least you've got the locker room. I don't understand doing it at home. You come all the way back with no-name Tyler Huntley. You have everything going your way after being down versus Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Kick the field goal and live to play another down. That loss could be the difference between getting in or out of the playoffs. Now, they got breaks all season long. They should have lost to the Lions when they missed that blown delay of game penalty. CEH puts that ball on the ground. If that doesn't happen, the Chiefs beat them too. I don't like the Ravens. They're lucky all year long. And without Lamar Jackson, they're in trouble. Now, if he plays, they're going to lose, surely, as he's not 100%. Because he's got a bum wheel. And in my mind, I think Tyler Huntley is just as good and would give them a better shot at winning a must-win game. Did anyone watch that game last week? I watched that whole game. Tyler Huntley looked like what Lamar used to look like. I never see Lamar come back from big games. I saw him do it once this year. Huntley scored 40 points in fantasy. No one knew who this guy was at all.
Against the Green Bay defense as well, one of the best in the league.
Not bad, right? Give this kid his flowers. I hope he plays again. Now, this is a must-win game. Since he's at home after beating the Broncos, they are just trying to solidify a spot in the playoffs. Joe Mixon's banged up, but they should run his wheels off. Joe Burrow and the bevy of weapons that they have, we don't need to talk about him anymore. Everybody knows he's loaded on offense. Is going to be too much for this Ravens defense who got shredded by Aaron Rodgers. I'm down on both teams currently, but I'm putting my anger aside. I'm just going to put it aside for now. And I'm going to jump back on a bandwagon, and I'm going to take Cincinnati to win at home. Now, I'm telling you right now, if they lose this game, I'm taking this microphone, I'm taking my ball, and I'm going home.
I'm putting my savings on the Ravens this week.
Every time I bet Cincinnati, they play me. It ain't happening this week. Ravens, you're in trouble. The Ravens are fool. They are fools if they pay Lamar what he's asking for. Capital F, the pick. Who day? All right, folks, fired up over here, breathing fire, giving you what you came here for. Those are the early games. We're going to take a commercial break, and we're going to come back with our Insurance Lounge player to watch. This week's player to watch is going to be none other than future stud linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs, Mr. Nick Bolton out of Mizzou. My name is Dexter Reed. You've been watching World of Matchups. We'll see you on the flip. Heroes Heating and Air are HVAC experts with great customer service and an unbeatable price point. They are certified Rheem heating and air conditioning equipment dealers in the Southern Oregon area, including Medford, Grants Pass, and Ashland. They offer free bids and estimates, 24-hour repair service, new installation and replacements, attractive maintenance agreements, and a senior citizen special with home efficiency replacements. Check them out online at heroesheatingandair.com or call 541-821-1615. Welcome back to the show. Our Play to Watch segment this week is sponsored by Insurance Lounge. Finding an insurance plan that is right for you and your budget can be challenging. However, the team at Insurance Lounge makes it easy. Their team is dedicated to being transparent with their customers when navigating the multiple types of insurance options. Auto, Medicare, and business insurance are only the beginning of the major insurance categories that they cover at Insurance Lounge. They offer personalized recommendations and help you guide your way through the process, making your decision as effective and stress-free as possible. Think of them as a one-stop shop for all your insurance needs. Get a quote today in the most convenient way for you, whether in person, online, or by calling them at 866-459-2166. Insurance Lounge. Check them out. All right, welcome back to the show. It's the time of the show where we break down film on up-and-coming players. A lot of people want to see me break down film on studs, but I kind of like talking about newer players that you want to keep your eyes on for the future, and this player is going to be the future of the middle of the Kansas City defense for years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World of Matchups, the breakdown for Mr. Nick Bolton. 6 foot, 233, coming to you live and direct from Mizzou. This guy is the only defensive player in the National Football League to have 100 tackles currently and 10 tackles for a loss. And I'm here to tell you, if Micah Parsons did not exist, this kid would be Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now, you don't hear a whole lot about him. The Kansas City Chiefs defense started off really, really slow, but there was one person that was balling when that happened. That was Nick Bolton. Now you bring in Melvin Ingram. Everyone's galvanized. He's pushing players all over the field. Look, he will go after the quarterback like no one's business, and he knows how to tackle a player, which is something that the Kansas City Chiefs have been missing for years because they have been one of the most undisciplined tackling teams in the last decade. Bring this guy in, pair him up with Willie Gay. I cannot wait to see what happens when he takes over Anthony Hitchens' role next year. And look, if you look at the game that they just won on the road at L.A. versus the Chargers, this guy was all over the field. He was a one-man wrecking crew. He was tipping passes. He was catching guys behind the line of scrimmage. He was getting after Justin Herbert. This guy is an absolute stud. And say what you want about Brett Veach. He's had some misses, but he hit it big with this kid. He hit it also big with Creed Humphrey. And to find this guy in the second round, pick number 58, that's all you need to know. He's got a motor like Derek Johnson, but he tackles better. I like this kid to be the future of Kansas City for many years to come. On behalf of Grab It Television, Spencer the Wiz to my right, my name is Dexter Reed, and this week's Insurance Lounge player to watch is Mr. Nick Bolton. All right, we're back, and I'm fired up. Man, I'm so fired up today. I love this time of year because you know what? The pretenders get separated from the contenders, and we're narrowing it down to the best football that you're going to see. And COVID's going to try to do everything it can to ruin this, but we're not having it. The show must go on.
Yeah, this is prime I told you so weeks right here.
This is it, man. You know what I mean? Like prime time, like Deion Sanders, like the club in Atlanta when everything is popping. It is right now the best football you're going to see all year. Let's roll with the late games. First things first, Bears. The Bears at the Seattle Seahawks. This is my upset special this week. The Bears over the Seahawks. I have zero faith in Seattle as long as Pete Carroll is the HC. It's just that simple. The Seahawks have underachieved all year long. They can't run the ball, they can't stop the run, and they don't play any kind of decent defense. Russell Wilson at times looks lost, and DK Metcalf is now the most overrated player in the league with Jamal Adams out for the season. The Bears are bad, but they're only really that bad because Matt Nagy should have been fired months ago. It's just that simple. They've got talent. Justin Fields has weapons in Cole Kmet, Darnell Mooney, and Montgomery. And the Bears' defense is better than Seattle's defense. I will never back off that. Look, I don't care if it's a home game. Folks, the 12th man has been dead for years. Can we admit that? All right? The 12th man's dead. I'll take my chances with this one and roll with the Bears. That's the pick. Don't be scared. Scared money don't make money. Let's roll. Next. Let's talk about the Raiders. AFC West division game. Raiders win a putrid game versus Cleveland the other day. I wanted to throw up watching that game, and now they're home. And I'm taking the Raiders simply because Derek Locke simply starting on Sunday assures that they're going to win because he is awful. He put the A in awful. I looked up the word awful in the dictionary as a picture of Drew Lock in high school. Look, the Broncos defense is good, and I expect this game to be close and low scoring because of it. Derek Carr is a stiff. We know this, but he'll be good enough here to win again. Look, Renfro, Jacobs, Barber, they're all solid. We don't know if Darren Waller's going to play. I don't think he will. He hasn't practiced. No practice usually means no game day. Look, those guys are going to do enough to get a win. Raiders special teams will have a hand in this one, and the simple fact that Denver wastes talent like no other team is enough to not pick them, especially not on the road. Can you believe that Jerry Jeudy has no touchdowns this year? I saw that and I almost fell out of my chair. My wife almost had to call 911. Jerry Jeudy is a fan favorite of World of Matchups. If they had a decent quarterback, Jerry Jeudy is 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Cortland Sutton's a decent player. Tim Patrick's a decent player. They have good players, but they have no quarterback. There's no way I'm taking Denver here. And just because I said that, watch them win by 10. Look, their air attack is a disgrace. I cannot in good conscience take them, so I'm rolling with Vegas, but barely. The pick, the Raiders.
Derek Carr will lose this game for the Raiders. He will actually lose the game for them. He will do so less than what he's normally expected to do. It will cost them the game. I'm telling you right now, the Raiders are going to lose.
Yeah, and look, as a Raider fan, you know your team better than I know your team, although I follow them quite fondly. It's hard to argue. You know, the term Raiders are going to Raider are coined from games like this. And the Raiders have 5-10 in Allegiant Stadium. They've been beating that stadium 10 times. It's only been open 2 years. My God, there was no fans in there last year. No excuses. So I could totally see them losing this one. This is what the Raiders do. But I'm taking them because I just think Drew Lock is a terrible quarterback. And in order to win, you have to stretch the field, which is something that they cannot do in Denver. Next, Steelers at the Chiefs, my team. Chiefs currently have 13 players on the COVID-19 list. 13. That's most in the league right now. Will any of them play? Will not be determined until the last round of COVID tests on Saturday. Drop dead date is Saturday. A lot of fantasy lineups are really they're pulling and praying for this one. Okay? There's a good chance that this game, I thought, may get postponed if there were more COVID tests, but there hasn't been more. Mike Remmers is the only other one. Is 14 players. You know, right tackle Mike Remmers is now in the COVID protocol too. Chiefs are decimated. I think they're going to get this game in. Harrison Butker is definitely not going to play as he is unvaccinated, so now he has to do the mandatory 10 days. We're not going to see him till next week. Losing Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill are huge blows to the Chiefs' offense, okay? If they can't get those two back, this game is a pick'em. But I think Pittsburgh coming to KC high off winning at home. They looked bad winning at home, but they won. Najee Harris needs more production, and Big Ben just needs to keep it simple as he is old and injured. Now, it's hard to pick this game without more information. It really is. So I'll just be a homer and take the Chiefs. I think they're still the better team. I think as long as those players, some of them get cleared to play, especially on defense, they should be fine. Look, the bottom line is Patrick Mahomes needs to be quarantined and kept in a bubble when he's not at the stadium. That's it. You don't go anywhere, and tell your big mouth wife not to go anywhere either. You're the boy in the bubble until March. We cannot risk you getting COVID at any time. And the good thing about this happening now to the Chiefs is that we really don't have to worry about it happening to them later. Hopefully they get cleared. Hopefully these guys play. Take the Chiefs. They're home. 7 wins in a row. They want that 1 seed. Andy Reid will put on a pair of pads if he has to this week and go out there. Chiefs aren't losing to Pittsburgh. The pick, the Chiefs. Sunday Night Football. WFT at the boys. Washington football team at the Dallas Cowboys. For the second time in 3 weeks, the Cowboys will run through the Washington football team. Okay, they're simply decimated and down way too many players on both sides of the ball to be competitive. Now, they get Taylor Heineke back. This is huge. Even if they get other key players to come back from injury and COVID-19, Dallas is just going to be too much. Now, Dallas is winning a lot of games, but Dak Prescott is not playing well. He needs to play a lot better, okay? Get that offense a lot better than it is right now because the defense is doing their thing. Now, this looks going to be just a tune-up for the playoffs for them. The division's already won. CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, Amari Cooper, they should have a field day. Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin are the only Washington football team players that are going to have any kind of hope at winning this game. It's almost next to impossible for them to win this game. The pick is going to be America's team. Next, Monday Night Football. Oh, and by the way, I'm switching my best bet. Cowboys is going to be my best bet this week. All right? There's no way they're losing it at home to a beat-up Washington football team. I don't care what the spread is. Lay it all. Dolphins at the Saints. Saints ran a clinic. Okay? They ran a clinic at Tampa Bay. I love that. That would be my best bet of the year. You know, actually taking money from the casino. I think that was it. No one saw that coming, but we at World of Matchups did. The Saints have been bad for months, but they did run that clinic on the champs under the lights on Sunday Night Football. The whole world saw it. It was wonderful. They will be feeling good and ready to play under the lights again at home. Expect third-string quarterback. We had to look this up. I don't even know if we have a picture of this dude. Ian Book to be the quarterback. Why? Because Taysom Hill has COVID. Trevor Siemian has COVID. Found it on my way to work. Coach Sean Payton had COVID. Don't know if he'll be cleared to coach. They're banged up. But they still have that defense. Defense wins championships. If they can't score on you, they can't win. Now, Alvin Kamara and that nasty defense are going to do what they do. They're going to show out versus a hot Miami team that, let's face it, Miami really hasn't beaten any quality opponents during this streak. They were 1-7, now they're 7-7, but the only decent team they beat was the Ravens. And are the Ravens a decent team? I think they're fraudulent. Tua will struggle. You write that down. And the Saints secondary will take away anyone that is trying to do anything on that Miami team. Jalen Waddle, you're in trouble, and that's even if he plays. Devontae Parker, they're taking him away. He's boom or bust. And the Duke Johnson signing was just a flash in the pan. If you are like holding out hopes on Duke Johnson, if he's your answer, it's time to ask yourself, well, what was the question? All right? Don't get gassed. Neither him or Myles Gaskin will do anything versus that Saint front four. And even with Ian Book from Notre Dame, I am still taking the Saints. Why? Because if they could beat Tom Brady on the road, they can beat Tua Tagovailoa at home. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Woo! Fired up. I could run through a wall right now.
Oh, yeah!
All right, folks. That's the breakdown. But before we get into our game of the week, we're going to tease our special guest, World of Matchups fan favorite, Mr. Rob the Raider. Felony Fitness is in the house. We're going to come back after paying some bills, and we are going to break down our game of the week, which is going to be the Buffalo Bills facing the New England Patriots in Foxborough. My name is Dexter Reed. Pay a couple bills here. Stay with us. See you on the flip. Welcome back to the program, everyone. And before we venture into our Game of the Week and special guest, we must welcome in our Game of the Week sponsor for the entire season, Mrs. Stacey Harrison of Felony Fitness. Folks, Felony Fitness isn't for the faint of heart. Felony Fitness promotes solely the 4 F's: no fear, no forgiveness, no failure, and no false hopes. Those who say what doesn't kill you will make you stronger, be patient because they are coming back around to finish the job. Felony Fitness now, Felony Fitness forever. All right, folks, it is time for our Game of the Week. We are featuring my good friend Rob the Raider. Going to go back and forth with me. We're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. Here we go. This is it, folks. Game of the Week time. Welcoming in for our second time you've been with us on World of Matches, my man Rob the Raider. We're going to break down some football. We'll talk about the state of the Raiders, and we are off to the holidays. So, welcome in to World of Matchups. Rob, thanks for coming on again, man. We really appreciate having you.
I appreciate you having me, Dexter.
Always, man. So, let's talk about round 2, Bills at the Pats. This is going to be a highly contested game, and this is a very important game for the AFC East. Look, this is what I know. Bill Belichick is the best coach in football, and I think he's going to win Coach of the Year. But the first time these two played in Buffalo, it was like a freaking tsunami. It's like the frozen tundra was happening. Balls are flying all over the place. Josh Allen looked terrible. The Bills absolutely need to have this game. What, in your mind, do the Bills need to do to win this game, especially with New England coming off a bad loss and going to be hungry to win at home?
Well, I think we have to stick around. We have to really remember that the last very good game that Mac Jones had was the 28th against the Titans. After that, he's been pretty flat, and some of that is a rookie growing pain. So I think Buffalo is going to have to figure out what things differently that Belichick's going to think about to expose next.
Yeah, especially when they threw, 2 passes, Spencer? Was it 2 passes Mac Jones threw? I mean, they just ran a clinic.
3.
They just ran a clinic. We all know that Buffalo can't stop the run, so you're going to get a huge dose of Ramondre Stevenson, who hasn't been practicing, by the way, and Damian Harrison, who's been on the shelf. So all of a sudden, there's some chinks in the armor coming from the offensive standpoint for New England, but they are still going to try to expose the middle of the field and just run the ball down their throats. Now, what scares me about this game is just the potential that Josh Allen has to say, I am not losing this game. I'm putting the city of Buffalo on my back. I am going into Foxborough, and I'm coming out with a W. If that happens, Buffalo's back in the race here. What will Bill Belichick do to make sure that doesn't happen this week?
Well, we all know that Bill Belichick went to the school of Rowdy Roddy Piper. Just when you think you got all the answers, I changed the questions.
Yep.
I don't think Bill Belichick is going to throw the ball or run the ball at all. I think they're going to make this a very short passing affair. All screens, bubble screens, things of that nature. I think they're not going to concentrate that much on the run. Ramondre Stevenson is just a straight beast. And if he gets on the field, it's over with. The other issue that we're going to have is that there are matchups that we need to consider. We need to consider what Tremon Edmonds for the Buffalo Bills can line up and stack up in the line against the running backs for the Patriots. We also need to figure out if Spencer Brown, the left tackle, can stand up against the pressure that's constantly brought on by Matthew Judon. And then last but not least, J.C. Jackson versus Stephon Diggs. Has Stephon Diggs stepped up this year at all? We can't really say he has. In that last game, that they were pretty much a stinker when they played back in New England.
Yeah, he's been good, but he hasn't been great like he was last year. And I think a big X factor here is a guy like Dawson Knox, who is a good TE. He's TE1, but the Patriots are like number 2 against tight ends. They just don't give up points to tight ends, and their tight ends get points. I think that could be a difference maker as well. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like, Spencer. Can you pull up the weather for this game? But it's December in Foxborough. That's never fun. It's not like you're going to be going to the sauna, and so that makes a difference too. So you have 2 cold weather teams going at it. What sounds good to me is the under for sure, but I do like what you're saying about the short passing game. Bill Belichick is just known to flip the script, and all of a sudden you can see Jacoby Myers have 10 targets in this game. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. I think guys like Jordan Poyer are in trouble. The back end, the defense in general for the Buffalo Bills, they really need to have a solid game here. It's been a while since they had a solid game versus anybody. They've been run on repeatedly, they've been exposed badly, and they've been losing in the worst possible ways. I think that I'm going to say that somehow, some way, just because of Bill Belichick, I think Bill Belichick is worth 3 points just by himself. I don't know what the spread is for this game, but I do think that the Patriots find a way to win this game. I'm going to say 21-17 in Foxborough. Your thoughts?
I was thinking to myself, ever since Bill Belichick took over, the Patriots are 36-4 against the Buffalo Bills. And you guys think to yourself, those 4 losses, 2 came with Cam Newton last year. The other one came because of Jacoby Brissett when Tom Brady blew out his knee. And then the other one came way back when Jimmy Garoppolo took over for Tom Brady after the second quarter because the Patriots were resting their starters. It's not very much a Buffalo Bills thing to beat New England ever. The other factor that we have to look at is Sean McDermott made a very telling comment after the last game where he was not giving that much credit to Belichick and making these excuses for why they got the ball ran on and made no second half adjustments. So Bill Belichick does not like being disrespected, especially in the division that he's been king of 15 out of the last 20 years. Yeah. So I expect to see a little bit of Bill Belichick at his pettiest best.
Petty. He is the pettiest, man. And I remember that press conference, McDermott was shook. He was so mad. He was just salty. Bill Belichick is what Sean McDermott wants to be. Now, Sean McDermott's done a good job this year, but they've been exposed. That's the bottom line. And I think that is a huge X factor that you're bringing up, and I could definitely see petty Bill Belichick on the sidelines this week. I could see
Absolutely.
I could see a trick play that embarrasses Buffalo. I could see a fake punt,
special teams. Yeah.
This is what the Patriots do in December in Foxborough. This is what they do. You will never expect them to do what's about to happen. And so I'm sure they got something cooking up for Buffalo. I think Buffalo's run of being a legitimate contender ends here. They're a good team, but I think it ends here. They did what they had to do last week at home versus a really ugly Panthers team. But anytime they play solid defenses that can run the ball, stop the run, and play good defense, they fold like a house of cards. And a lot of it is not who you play, but when you play them. And this is what I know. Bill Belichick coming off a loss is not fun to be around. And those practices this week are probably outdoors in inclement weather, and they're ready for this. And I just cannot see Buffalo winning. Final score 21-17. What's your final score?
My final score, I'm thinking a little bit closer. I was thinking more 21-17. I'm going for the Patriots.
Yeah. I think that people are forgetting that Mac Jones has an arm. You know, Mac Jones was no slouch in college. He can throw the ball. They just don't let him throw the ball. But I think that everyone's going to be expecting to see a huge dose of the run game, and I think you're right. I think that they may flip the script. Hey, don't be surprised to even see a bomb. He's got the arm to do it. And so it's not the Patriots style because they don't have a Randy Moss out there, but they can throw the rock. And so I don't think they're going to nickel and dime as much as you guys think that they may do. Cool. So let's wrap that game up. Obviously, I always give everybody that comes on the show an opportunity to talk about the state of their team, where they're at, how they're feeling. The last time you were on the show, things were a lot different than they are now. Let's talk about the outlook for the Raiders the rest of the season and what you'd like to see happen moving forward for Vegas.
Moving forward, I would like to see Mark Davis just the ownership papers taking out of his pocket completely. A boatload of money goes to him, and he goes off to an island somewhere. We need to be corporate owned in his corporate city. You know, it used to be about families that used to own everything out here in Vegas, and then it became corporate, and we didn't really like it, but now we're so used to it. The Raiders just need to be corporate. We need to get some competence in, and it starts from the top, and it goes all the way down to the bottom. I'm partial to Mike Mayock, the current GM. Everybody knows I think Derek Carr is a career quarterback or the good quarterback for us. I mean, 8 seasons, 5 head coaches, 5 offensive coordinators, and probably 7 play callers. I mean, that's outrageous. No one can survive in those conditions. We lost our number 1 wide receiver. Our tight end has been injured all season. We are a bright spot on defense. We can at last say that the defense hasn't let us go. But
Mad Max, Pro Bowl.
Right now, Mark Davis, done.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue anything you just said, bro. You know, I mean, at this point, they've been a snake-bitten team all year with all the nonsense that's happened, all the off-the-field stuff that's happened. I mean, it's kind of hard to even win when you have that stuff happening. Who is your pick for the next head coach of the Vegas Raiders? Who would you like to see? You have all the money to spend in the world. You could give a long-term contract to anybody right now. Who's the guy you want running the show?
All right. See, this is going to be like the craziest thing. It's off the wall. It's not going to happen. We just did it literally. We pulled a guy out of the booth to come and be our coach. But if we could get Bill Cowher to come in and just get everybody just playing at just a respectable, disciplined way, I would have no problems. Bill Cowher came back. He would actually be my pick right now.
I like Bill Cowher
to be the head coach of the Raiders.
Yeah, I wanted him to come back and coach the Chiefs because the Chiefs at that point in 2012 were very much undisciplined as well. And I think that's a big problem for the Raiders is they lack discipline. You know what I mean? There's no attention to detail. There's no real focus. I think a lot of people forget in the National Football League the difference between wins and losses is so small that it's inconceivable. And players respect Bill Belichick because there's no stone that's left unturned. You know, guys like Andy Reid, guys like Sean Payton, these guys make sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. And when you don't have that on a team like the Vegas Raiders that have talent, those wins that should be wins a lot of time turned into losses. So I definitely like that answer. I could definitely see that happening. You'd have to give him $1 million. You'd have to give him a Gruden contract to get him out the booth.
Back the truck up.
You're going to have to back up the Brinks truck to get that guy to come back. But, hey, stranger things have happened, and we all know that money makes people do crazy things. All right, man, that's it for the breakdown here at World of Matchups, folks. We want to thank you again for coming on. We thank you guys for your sponsorship at Felony Fitness. We're looking forward to partnering with you guys in the future and seeing where that goes and how that flourishes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Rob the Raider a huge hand, man. Happy holidays to you guys out there, and lots of love. Thanks again for coming on, bro.
All right, no problem, man. Back to you.
All right. Okay, folks, that's the show. We'd be remiss if we didn't take a second to go over who World of Matchups is taking this week. So, I like the Titans, the Packers, the Colts, the Chiefs, the Falcons, the Eagles, the Jets, the Buccaneers, the Chargers, the Patriots, the Rams, the Bengals, the Bears, the Raiders. The Cowboys are my best bet, and I am taking a huge leap of faith and taking Ian Book at home and the Saints. Folks, just a reminder, like we said earlier in the show, we're all over social media. Don't play yourself by not knowing where we're at. Like us, subscribe. We're everywhere. We appreciate the support you're giving us out there. I hope you all have a great holiday season. We thank you so much for giving us all the love that you have this year, and we look forward to continuing to bring you content like this that you're not going to find anywhere else. Just remember that you're watching the most uncensored, progressive, and unscripted content and television show to hit the airwaves and the big screen this year. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Grab It Television, my man Spencer the Wiz, my name is Dexter Reed, and you have been watching World of Matchups. Merry Christmas, everyone.